Hello. Alright, that's perfectly fine. Glad you could at least come by and say hi. We turned off the music just real quick. There we go. That's better. Alright. So welcome everyone. Today we are going to be exploring the wonderful and vast mythology that is behind Hercules, the action game. It's honestly a game that I have played so often, and I have never actually beaten it. And so I would very much love to beat this game during the stream. So, all right, let me get this going here. Oh, and I should mention as well, you are going to be seeing, or going to be hearing the music that's playing right now throughout the entire game. Unfortunately, I learned that the audio that a Hercules Action Game uses, like the music, is very much copyrighted. So can't actually use it. So this music is going to be playing throughout the entire time. If it does get too loud, please let me know, so that way we can get that going, or get that adjusted. All right. Oh, listen to that. God, I love that so much. Oh. No, I thought I turned off the music. Oh, that's right. It's a fresh boot. Welcome. Hello. Glad you're here. Hopefully people can hear me. All right. Well done. We quickly... There we go. Okay. Yes, we are very excited for this. Hercules Action Game, brought to you by Disney. Well, not sponsored by. God, that'd be a crazy thing. But Hercules, the movie, sees you playing, or sees you, not sees you, the movie. We watch as Hercules grows up. We learn about how Hades is trying to kill him. And even though he is a god, and gods cannot be killed, he still becomes mortal. Now, before we get into it, let's talk a little bit about Hercules and who he is, how he grew up. That way we can get a basis for what we're getting into. Because the game, as you see in the demo mode here playing, it goes straight into his training and whatnot. So, Hercules, it was believed that Hercules existed around 1100 or like 900 BCE. The story of Hercules was created at around 500 to 600 BCE. So it was like right at the right before the start of the classical era, the golden age of classical Greece. So Hercules is born from his mother, Alcmene, who had relations with Zeus. Though Zeus saw her, really wanted her, so he took the form. Oh, nope. I cut that out every time. But Zeus took the form of Alcmene's husband, Amphitryon. Amphitryon was a soldier of Greece, and when Zeus went, he spent 3 nights with her. He convinced Helios to actually stop rising the sun for 3 days straight, so that way he could be with Alcmene for that amount of time. Of course, once the 3rd day came, Zeus flew off, went back to Olympus, and then Amphitryon came home, and since he's been at war for so long, of course, what's he gonna do? Have relations with his wife, that have that connection with her. In doing so, not only was Alcmene pregnant with Hercules, she also became pregnant with his twin brother. I believe it's pronounced Iphicles. I'm terrible at pronouncing names. So, relations, yes. We're gonna go with that. Now, Hera, of course, knew all about Zeus's infidelity, and of course, did not like it. So, what she did is that she made Zeus promise that whoever of his next child was born, or whoever of his children were born next, would become like a king. So what she did, since she knew that Hercules was... Oh, I should mention as well before we continue, Hercules is actually the Roman and more Western name for the character in ancient Greece, which is Heracles, and we'll get into the name meaning in just a moment here. But so Hera went down telling Zeus, hey, your next child is going to be king. And he's like, oh, great, yeah, I just, not too long ago had relations with a nice young lady, and she's about to have a kid, so yeah, I'm new son is king. Great. The reason she also didn't want this is because Heracles was a descendant of Perseus. And so by proxy, the descendants of Perseus are very, very good kings. So she was like, no, I hate this kid so very much. I don't want anything good for him. So she goes down and disguises herself as a maid and prevents Alcmene from birthing Heracles and his twin brother. Of course, the Alcmene's actual maid hears about the birth that's supposed to happen, and instead she runs in and tells Alcmene, it's time to have the baby, and she stands up, and out comes Hercules and his brother Iphicles. Absolutely crazy. After some time, Hercules is, he's a baby and everything, and Hera does not, it's weird because, I don't think that's how that works either. Alright, I'm gonna have to skip that part every time it comes up because the music plays. So some time passes, and Hera loses track of like what the baby Hercules actually looks like. And so what she does is she knows that this child is special. So what she does is she has Athena come down, disguised again as a maid, and brings Heracles up to Olympus. And she nurses the child because it's not widely known why exactly she does this, but more than likely, she probably took pity on Alcmene because she wasn't having an easy time like feeding the child. So as she's feeding Heracles, not knowing that it's actually Heracles, because she probably considered that it was his brother Iphicles, so. But as she's breastfeeding him, this actually gives him his superhuman strength. And this is what gives him the moniker of God of Strength. Now, he's not a god just yet. He's still a mortal. He's a demigod, essentially. So part god. As he's gaining his strength, he actually bites down so hard that he almost tears off her nipple. And she gets furious and almost essentially tosses the child back to Alcmene. But after some time again, she still hates Heracles and wants him to suffer. So she wants to kill him. So she sends 2 snakes, because she herself is a snake, not physically, but like, you know, metaphorically. And she sends the snakes into his crib. Now, of course, he has a brother, Iphicles, and they share a crib. So it could just kill both of them. Now, of course, she could absolutely just not care that both are going to die. And Hercules, as the baby, sees the snakes and decides, oh, new toys. Grabs them, starts swinging them around, kills them instantly, of course, because his strength is so strong. And uses them as toys, ties them up, rattles them. So, but the entire story of Heracles is a story about redemption, finding the strength to be forgiven of sins. It's also a story about anger, because Heracles is very much an angry person throughout the entire myth. I mean, even when he is in his teenage years, he accidentally kills his lyre teacher, so his music teacher. He accidentally kills him because he's just having such a hard time actually learning the instrument that he just outright kills his teacher. Yeah. So, as he grows up, he does get stronger and stronger, and in turn, as he gets older, he gets to meet Philoctetes.
Is this kid gonna mess up my hostile takeover bid or what? What do you think?
Oh, no, you don't. We're not supposed to reveal the future.
My fate is in your lovely hands.
Oh, all right. In 18 years, precisely, the planets will align ever so nicely.
Aye, verse.
The time to act will be at hand. Unleash the Titans, you monstrous band. Then the once proud Zeus will finally fall, and you, Hades, will rule all!
Yes, Hades rules!
A word of caution to this tale.
Excuse me?
Should Hercules fight, you will fail.
All right. So, at this point in the game, Hercules is training with Philoctetes, who is a satyr. Excuse me, sorry. And in this training, he gets his strength, and he's a very good friend. Good friend, good confidant. Now, with that scene, we got a lot to unpack here. So, there we saw Hades trying to, or learning about the kid, learning about Hercules. I'll use the name interchangeably. And who he's meeting with are the Fates. Now, Fates I'll get into a moment, but Hades is the god of the underworld. He is the ruler of the underworld, essentially the god of death. Although there is Thanatos, who is the god of death, but again, we won't be getting into that. But so Hades wants Hercules dead. Now, in the actual Greek myth, Hades is actually an extremely neutral party in Heracles' story. We'll be discussing how he's like fully involved a little bit later, but for Hades, he is so often portrayed as the bad guy because the underworld has been depicted as bad for so long. This is actually due to the Christianization of Greek myth, which started at around what was it? Around the medieval period, that more mythology started to come into the common schooling for people. So, so Hades in the myth doesn't actually want to kill Heracles. He's not a bad guy, although he is very much a very good bad guy in the movie and in Disney's story of Heracles. Now for the Fates. So these crones are interesting because the Fates were, oh goodness, I remember Atropos. Hold on. So the Fates were three sisters, and they were named Clotho, Lachesis, and Atropos. One weaved the thread of life together. The other would form it, and then the last would cut the string. This was meant to show the beginning of life, the journey of life itself, and then the end of the life. So all right, let me, sorry, I'm just, nope. Okay. So what's interesting with this is, yes, they are shown as the Fates who know all, but they shared one eye. Now the Fates were actually just regular, they were sisters, so they were all, they looked normal. They were just, one was young, one was old, the other was middle-aged, to show the progression of life. In the movie Hercules, we actually see them sharing one eye. This was the actual use of the Gorgons when, I believe it was the story of Perseus, when he needs to meet with them, and they all share one eye. So it's interesting that they're combining the story of Perseus and the story of Heracles because they're all interconnected. So now after all that, I appreciate you all sitting there listening to me lecture on this. We can actually get into the game. And just above us here is Hermes, the messenger god, who, funny enough, is actually a psychopomp. Psychopomp is someone who is a guide or traveler of the dead. All right. So I do kind of like in this game the fact that Hercules is very much depicted as naturally gifted, naturally strong due to his godhood, and that he is training to grow that strength. So it kind of shows a personal improvement story. Also, I just can't get enough of Danny DeVito's voice. Ow. There we go. And in the back there, you can see a horse with wings. That is Pegasus. Once again, connecting us to Perseus, because in the story of Perseus, as he fights Medusa, once he cuts off the head of Medusa, once the head of Medusa is cut off, a boar and Pegasus are erupting from the neck or from the blood of Medusa. So essentially, Pegasus is the son of Medusa and Poseidon. I don't know how that works, but it did. So Pegasus is mainly seen as the horse of Perseus. Or the horse that is alive because of Perseus. Let me double check to make sure that Chrysor. That's it. That was the boar's name. Trying to remember if did Perseus actually ride him? Bellerophon actually rode. Anyway. No. Dang it. It's the one part of the game that I'm like, just have trouble with, is timing these things. There we go.
Hercules. Hercules.
Something I find weird with this game is the fact that every time you kill these birds, they sound like glass breaking, or like pots breaking. So I can't really figure out
Hercules.
what type of bird. Not what type of bird, but if it's like actually a bird or a machine. Birds are spies? Are birds fake? Birdsaren'treal.com?
Hercules.
Don't go there. Oh my god. Alright, that's it. By the power of Zeus.
Hercules.
Ow.
Hercules.
As I said before, we'll be talking about the Lakers here in just a moment, but we want to get through this tutorial here. So how's everybody's day going? There we go. Oh god. There we go. Here, I'm actually gonna... There we go. Okay.
Hercules. Hercules.
Ow.
Hercules. Hercules.
So, we have coins here that depict the
Hercules.
lightning bolts so often. I suppose. Iron birds. Excuse me.
Hercules.
Oh. Yeah? If you could help me out with a, finding out the iron... sorry. The iron birds' names.
Hercules.
Would be extremely helpful. Oh. All right. Put that there.
Hercules.
Rule number 95, kid. Concentrate.
All right.
Hercules. Hercules.
What are you doing? Get your sword.
Which second book?
Hercules. Hercules.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Hercules. Hercules.
I always lose the H and the E. I never know where it is. Oh,
Hercules. Hercules.
okay. Once we finish up the tutorial here, we will, or the first level, really, we'll get into the labors of Hercules, the main story of Hercules. Ow.
Hercules.
Valiant. So, see, that's what I had thought, but I'm pretty sure they're depicted later on. So what Beth 500 here has mentioned is the Stymphalian birds. So these birds were man-eating birds, and this was the hold on, let me go through my notes here. The 6th labor done by Hercules. These need to be killed because they were eating people. There we go. There's the end of the level. Get some Powerade. Get some water. Get some Herculade. So, all right. Now that we've completed the level, let's talk about the labors. So, to start, Heracles, as he was growing up, met the daughter of Creon, Megara, or as they say in the game. Yeah, Disney is not worried too much about the actual order of the myths, but but I guess they are the Stymphalian birds. So why they're attacking Hercules? But in any case, as you actually see later on in the game, we'll be traveling to Thebes, since that is actually where Heracles meets Megara. And there he falls in love, he marries her, and they have children. Now, it's actually very unclear how many children they have. So some sources say he has 2, some sources say he has 4. There's one source that says he has 8. You've got things like Hesiod, Apollodorus, who all say different things because of the time period that they're in. And that's something that is seen throughout much of Greek mythology, and it's telling, is the fact that Greek myths will change over time based upon the time period, the area. I go into much more detail in my video on the evolution of Greek mythology and God of War. So be sure to watch that one when you do, or I'll make sure that that's a credit to the end of the video. So as Heracles is growing up, as Heracles is getting older, he is having a good life. You know, he's wrestling, he's getting money, he's essentially setting up a life for himself, quite right, as orators would very commonly, say different things to get people to listen to them. So, but Hera learns that Heracles has grown up. He's a man now. He is very well-to-do since he's married into a wealthy family, and he's having a good life. Of course, Hera does not want this. She hates this. So what she does is she causes confusion. She causes madness. Right. So she does all this to essentially make Heracles go insane. So insane to the fact that he brutally kills all of his children and Megara. It's also believed that he killed his other cousins. He killed his brother, but it's iffy on that. So we're not 100% sure whether that was actually true to that story. Coming out of the madness, he was so guilt-ridden and just stricken with grief that he completely changed his name, because he had gone by Alcides for his entire life at this point, and up to this point. So in doing so, he learned that Hera, or he had learned that Hera had done this, and he really wanted to make amends, because it was really no fault of his own. And so what he did is he changed his name from Alcides to Heracles, or the glory of Hera, or to the glory of Hera. There he wanted to be amended for his sins, because, he committed a super cardinal sin, killing his entire family, brutally, in fact. And so he went to the Oracle of Delphi. There the Oracle said, you need to be in service of a king, and who's also in service of the gods, to redeem yourself. So he goes and he meets with King, I believe it's pronounced Aristeas. I'm not 100%. Again, names are terrible for me. And there, Aristeas gives him 10 different labors. Now, you've heard of 12, but we'll be getting to that in a moment. So we'll go over the first two really quickly, since we did actually see a little bit of that second one with the idle animation. Press X to continue. All right. So the first task that Heracles was given was to slay the Nemean lion. So a Nemean lion was an extremely fierce lion that was attacking Nemea, or the city of Nemea in Greece. What was interesting is that the lion's pelt, its skin, was impenetrable, meaning that the skin could not be destroyed. So he couldn't cut it with his sword. He couldn't. Missed it. He couldn't stab the beast. He could barely do anything to it. So instead, since he is the... Dang it, I keep missing those. So since he's having such a hard time with it, what he does is he punches the Nemean lion to the point where it's unconscious, and then strangles the thing to death.
Hercules.
Oh, balls.
Hercules.
So he strangles the Nemean lion, killing it, and then uses its own claws to completely skin the beast.
All right! Not bad, kid! Not exactly what I had in mind, but not bad.
So I'm going to be running into these things a lot because
Hercules.
there we go. And so that's why in the idle animation we actually see Hercules put on the mane
Hercules.
of the lion, because that was his that was actually his symbol, was the skin of the lion. In the second task that he was given after completing his first one of killing the Nemean lion, it was actually to slay the Lernean Hydra. Now, if anybody has seen the
Nice work!
the
Excellent
Hercules
day.
movie, you'll know that the Hydra is just this huge climactic battle in the middle of the movie. It's to show his, his true test of strength. But it's actually one of his earliest tasks in his redemption. So the Lernean Hydra was actually just a snake that had multiple heads. Now, again, just like with the sources debating on how many kids Heracles actually had, again, the different sources have issue with expressing what sort of, or how many heads the Hydra had. It was said to have 9 heads, but of course it could have 12, it could have had 5, or like 25. So all are correct, essentially. It was actually sent by Hera to attack Heracles's home city or home polis of Lernia. In this, he learned that the Hydra's heads, once you cut them off, yeah, exactly. With the every time he cut off a head, the saying goes, 2 more grows in its place. Now, of course, in the actual myth, it's debated on, he cut off a head and then another grew in its place, or sometimes 2 grew in its place, or sometimes even 5 grew in its place. It really just meant that as a head was cut off, another took its place. Didn't matter how many, but no matter what, a head was cut off and it wouldn't die. Now, the funny thing is that the Hydra in the myth actually has 1 head among it that is immortal. So it can be cut, it can be, killed essentially, but it cannot die. So, and this was designed by Hera. Again, she is a snake, metaphorically. So he gets the help of his nephew. Again, I'm going to butcher this name. Iolaus, I think is his name, or how you pronounce his name, which was his brother, Iphicles, was his son. So every time Hercules used his sword to cut off the head of a hydra, Iolaus would go with his torch and solder and cauterize the neck wound. So that way the head would not take its place anymore, or it was just prevented from taking its place. Up to the point that the Hydra was down to its immortal head. And Hercules at this point was just like, you know what, screw this, and just took a gigantic boulder and smashed the head of the Hydra and left it. Now, of course, the blood of the Hydra is extremely toxic, extremely poisonous. Heracles figured this out and was like, all right, I'm going to take this. So he he gathers up the blood and uses them for his arrows. So that way, since they would basically kill on contact, or kill anytime it like entered the bloodstream. So he knew that if he used it, it would instantly kill anything that he was targeting. All right, so let's continue on. We did see that we are entering the land, or the home of the centaurs. Centaurs are the half-horse, half-human type of beings. Now, excuse me. Now, throughout much of the many myths, around the world, Egypt, Greece, India, or Hindu, even Buddhism, the hybridization of both
Hercules.
human and animal is seen as a divine thing. This is one of those cases where it's not a divine thing. Centaurs were created because of a king named Ixion, who tried to sleep with Hera. And of course, Zeus, being a jealous god, was very furious against this and very much against it. So he took Ixion and tied him to oh, I'm dead. All right. Tied him to a wheel and had him just spinning on the wheel. This was meant as his torture, and he would continue to do so in Tartarus.
Hercules.
Not a very fair thing, but I mean, considering everything that he had done against Hera, but however, when Ixion was freed at one point, he actually slept with Rebecca, hello, welcome. Believe it was he slept and had relations with a cloud, but I can't quite remember exactly. But afterwards,
Hercules.
you know what? Let's actually check that real quick. I'm just double checking my notes on okay, so it wasn't a cloud, it was the cloud nymph. Cloud-shaped like Hera. Thank you, Dark Bear. Also, welcome. Glad you're here. And so with that, it was, well, what was her name? Hold on. I literally just saw it. Oh, goodness. There it is. Nephili, who was a cloud nymph. And she gave birth to the centaurs. So, and in Greek myth, they are very much viewed as beasts of men. Think of it as the like id, ego, and superego in psychology. Centaurs were meant to represent the id. Yes, deviants. Is this better? No, it's not. Okay. So that's why centaurs are enemies in this game. And we'll actually meet I think it's the boss of this area, whose name is Nessus. There we go. And Nessus is actually, that is way later in the story, because that meeting Nessus is actually after his, after Hercules' is the 12 labors. The story goes that when Hercules is married for a third time with Deneria, I think is how I pronounce her name. Okay. I'll try to prevent myself from using the here. Let me do, oh, I have to quit. Yeah, I'd have to quit to actually redo the sound. Let me see if I can do it another way. Okay, I just won't use the the punching. Hold on, let me go to my notes. Yeah, Deneria. So, when Hercules is married to his third wife, Deneria, they travel through. Oh, okay. Well, I'll do that then.
Hercules.
Because that'll probably work a little bit better if I. There we go. Okay, there we go. All right, that's a lot better. So they're traveling through the land of the centaurs. Yeah, it just doesn't work out. And they're traveling through a river, and just to get back home, essentially. And as Heracles can easily just swim across the river without any issue, Deneria is just a plain old woman, so she can't. She's just a regular woman. Sorry, don't mean to make that sound awkward. But the centaurs are there, and Nessus is there. And so what he does is he helps her. He has her ride on his back, and he can just, since he was so tall, he could just walk through the river. And he tells her that did you know that centaur blood is actually super healing? So you apply it onto someone's body and they can heal from any wound. As well, it helps give the person love to whomever they are in love with. It like strengthens their love. So that way they are not, or do not have problems with infidelity. And so she's like, oh, that's awesome. Cool, great. Hercules gets so jealous of Nessus hitting on Daenerys that he what he does is he straight up kills Nessus, like guts him essentially. And as Nessus is dying, he says collect the blood, so that way he does not commits adultery, so he doesn't commit that. So she takes his blood and holds on to it. And later on, of course, Heracles, being a man of the time, gets interested in other women. And so Daenerys is distraught. And what she does is she takes one of his tunics and douses it in the blood of Nessus. Unfortunately, centaur blood is extremely caustic. So it's essentially like acid. Think of the blood from Alien. And how caustic that was. And so he's just burning all over. And he is in so much pain and suffering, and he's poisoned, and it's acid, and it's just... Yeah, I think drinking it would have been even worse. So, at this point, he just wants to die. And so he has Philoctetes actually make a pyre for him. And he just jumps into it, kills himself. So, we jumped ahead a little bit into Hercules' story, but that's okay. I got something. Oh, I forgot the buttons there for a second. Yeah, oh well. So I've always wondered what this creature is, and I have no clue. Because it's like a lion bird thing, or like a panther bird thing.
Hercules.
Oh, right, we have to. Alright, let's go here, collect this. Alright. I like the lurd. It's a lurd.
Hercules.
So let's continue on and learn about the third labor of Hercules. So the third labor was the capture of the Sirmian hind. Hind just means deer.
Hercules.
So, or it's a type of deer. And this specific deer was actually the... Okay, alright. There we go. This hind was specifically the patron deer of Artemis, the huntress, or the goddess of the moon, goddess of the hunt. And all he had to do was capture it, thankfully. So this time he didn't have to kill it or, you know, skin it or whatnot. And this deer was so fast, so powerful that oh my god. Oh my god. There we go. With it being so powerful and so fast, Hercules literally had, and I'm dead. He had to chase it for an entire year across the entire Greek landscape. After chasing it for a solid year, he never grew tired, but the deer did. And so it stopped at a meadow at one point to, take a rest. And he captured it, brought it up onto his shoulders, and walked back to Artemis, who had seen what he had done, and Heracles was just like, hey, I just need to take this over to the king and show you off.
Hercules.
And just show that I've actually captured it. And Artemis just said, oh, well, yeah, just bring it back then. And he's like, okay. So he brings it back to Aristeas, and he is so enthralled by it that he's like, oh yes, put it down, I want to see it walk and move. And as soon as Heracles puts the deer down, the deer bolts off and runs back to Artemis. Okay, here we go. So we're supposed to get on the back of the centaur, but I don't know how. Ow. How do I... There we go. So, I should mention the reason that we ow. There we go. So something that the movie actually gets right. Ow. Ow. I don't want to die. I'm dead. Something that the movie actually gets right pretty well is the fact that centaurs, and especially Nessus, are river guardians, and so they mention that pretty clearly. How the heck? Okay, I think I'm getting the hang of it. But go. But with the third task complete for Hercules, there we go. And that should be the end of it. Oh yeah, we win. There we go. And we win. Lemonade for everyone. So with the third task complete, Heracles is tasked with capturing, I keep on wanting to say killing, with capturing the Erymanthian boar. Where is this boar located? You guessed it, Erymanthia. This boar was extremely fast, extremely vicious, extremely aggressive as well. So it was just attacking passerbyers, eating people. It was not very pleasant. And this was in the northern parts of Greece, especially, and it was during the winter as well. So there's snow all over the ground. And Heracles encounters the boar, and what he does is he has it run around and chase him. Chases him to the point where they had built up a gigantic snow pile. And he has the boar run straight into the pile and get stuck under it. With that, he chains up the boar, tosses it onto his shoulders, and heads back to Aristeas. Once he shows the king the boar that he has captured, the Erymanthian boar, the king is so frightened by this that he jumps into an empty wine jar and hides in it. And he stays there for the rest of the time. Because he's just so terrified of...
Thanks for everything,
Oh.
Herc. It's been a real slice.
Herc, Herc. Come in, Herc. Come in, Herc. We got a job to do, remember? The thieves are still waiting.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. And look at that. We are in Thebes. Home of Creon, home of Megara. Oh, and I should say, it's very much believed that with Creon being Megara's father, that it's the same Creon that was in the story of Oedipus and Oedipus Rex. As well as, what was her name? I can't remember. Antigone. That's it. So, we'll talk about one more labor and then continue on with the game. So, the fifth labor of Heracles was the cleaning of the Augean stables, or Aegean, I believe it's Augean stables. But the stables were huge in Augea. It had thousands and thousands of huge cattle that produced a lot of feces. This feces was very much poisonous to any who breathed it in. And Hercules was tasked with cleaning them, but he could only clean it in a day because they had to be ready to be, sent out later on. So what he did is he took two of the rivers that were right by the stables, the rivers Alphidios and Pinios, and he dug ditches so vast that it diverted both rivers to just the stables. And as the water rushed through the entire stable, it completely cleaned and washed away all of the dirt, grime, poop from the actual stables, cleaning it in a single day. Now, what's interesting with this is the fact that the tender of the stables, or the stableman, was going to pay Hercules for his efforts. But of course, he decided, nah, I'm not going to pay you. Thanks for cleaning the stables, but no. And Hercules had to go back with nothing but saying to Aristeus that he had cleaned the stables. Alright, let's continue on into the game. Oh, jeez. Alright, I'm going to be completely honest. This is the farthest in the game I've ever gotten. I played this as a kid, and I have never gotten any farther. Like, I've gotten to here, and then just died or
Hercules!
gave up.
Hercules!
So we're gonna do our best to try not to die. And I'm done. That was unlucky. Like, oh my god.
Hercules!
I'll try to save that one, so that way when I can come back and. Oh, I 100% should have gotten hit there. There we go. Oh, thank goodness, a checkpoint.
Hercules!
Alright. No. We not reach it? I guess not. Oh well. Ah! The Minotaur. This is interesting. In all honesty, I have no idea what to do here. Do I... If anyone has any help with this... No? Uh, Anyone got any ideas? No?
Hercules.
I don't know how to hurt him. No. Like, I can't go up the stairs. Okay. So, some help would be great. All right. I do not know how to actually beat him. Let's see. All right. So I've pulled up a thing here. Oh, okay. I see what we have to do. Okay. So apparently, we have to pick this up and toss it up to him. And this is how we beat him. Cool. Okay. This might take a little bit. So the myth of the Minotaur, I do like also that they only include one. Was that? There we go. The king and queen of Crete were wanting to have a child, but because the king had said some pretty bad things about the gods, they had cursed his wife to fall in love with a bull. And this is actually a bull that is later on seen in Hercules' story, when he has to hold on, let me try to find it real quick. Nope, not that one. Ah, yeah, when he has to capture the Cretan bull. So
Hercules.
what ends up happening is the wife of the king of Crete, I can't remember his name, unfortunately. His wife falls in love with the bull and commissioned Daedalus to actually build a mechanism for her to be in that is female bull-esque. So the great bull comes up and has relations with the device that looks like a bull, but it has the wife in it. She ends up giving birth to the Minotaur. I can't remember his name, unfortunately. Actually, let's look that up right now. Asterion is his name. So she gives birth to Asterion. Now, of course, he's seen as such an abomination that
Hercules.
there he is. Asterion is seen as such an abomination that the king commissions Daedalus to build a labyrinth at the core of Crete, and basically holds Asterion there forever, or for as long as he can. And so he grows up there, he goes insane, he's basically like a raging bull at this point, very angry, clearly because of everything that's happened. And Daedalus gets, or has his son, Icarus, with him. And because the king of Crete is so corrupt, really, he takes Daedalus and Icarus and traps them in the labyrinth as well, and actually puts them in a tower portion of the labyrinth, so they are basically trapped in there. They have open sky, but they can't do anything. They can't escape. And this actually plays into two different stories. So Daedalus and Icarus basically use the feathers that as the birds fly by, of course, birds drop feathers because they constantly do that. They molt. They shed their old feathers. So they gathered up the feathers and used candle wax to glue together everything. And of course, Daedalus is a master builder, so he constructs 2 sets of wings for both him and his son. They're able to jump off the tower and fly fly through the Mediterranean back to Greece. Now, as we all know, since most of us know the story of Icarus, Icarus is very young, very ambitious. And so he starts to fly higher and higher because he's so excited. He's flying. People don't fly. So he flies too close to the sun, falls to his death. And Daedalus can't do anything because he knows he can't go to the water because they're in the middle of the sea. Because if he goes, he'll die. So he can't do anything. He just has to continue flying and watch his son drown. And so he flies back, and of course Daedalus shows up later on in other stories, but as for the Minotaur himself, a young king, or soon-to-be king, Theseus, actually, again, a descendant of Perseus, goes and is told to save the princess. That is, I believe it is. I don't think it's Andromeda. Ariadne, that's it. And he's told to go to Crete and fight the Minotaur. So he's given a golden string to guide him through the Minotaur, or guide him through the labyrinth, so that way he can find his way back after defeating the Minotaur. There he defeats the Minotaur and goes back, becomes king, but also Theseus is just an obnoxious brat and horrible human being. Leaves Ariadne, has a miscommunication with with his home city, and ends up having his family die because of it. So, but we're not exploring Theseus too much. In any case, it is interesting that they have the... okay. The Minotaur here fighting against Hercules, or Heracles, since he does deal with the Cretan bull.
Hercules.
All right. So here we can see undead soldiers, skeletons, fighting Heracles. This actually connects back to the story of Jason and the Argonauts.
Hercules.
Because, again, the king of Crete used dragon's teeth to bring soldiers to life from the ground.
Hercules.
Okay, this brings us back here. To prove that Jason and his other soldiers were very fit. Now, I say this because of the fact that Hercules was actually with Jason on the Argo in his traveling to find the Golden Fleece. There we go. There we go.
Hercules.
Okay. I don't want to grab that yet. Here we go. These are the Stymphalian birds. Oh. Alright. Can we... So, what's interesting with the Stymphalian birds is that, actually, that is the next, funny enough, that is our next labor to discuss. Ow. Oh, okay. All right. Or not. Hey, we got him. Fantastic. So, Stymphalian birds were located in
Hercules.
northern Arcadia. So that's on the northeast side of Greece, I believe. And here, these were man-eating birds. So they were extremely dangerous and would basically kill and eat anybody who walked by their tree. The funny thing with the birds is the fact that Hercules had crafted rattlers to scare off the wait. Cool. Okay, there we go. I was about to be like, oh, God. So he crafted rattlers to scare off the birds, and as he's shaking the rattler, the birds fly away, and he uses his bow and arrow and shoots down every single bird, killing each of them. And that is his 6th task. His 7th task was the capture of the Cretan bull. So it's the same bull that I mentioned before, being the father of Asterion, or the
Hercules.
being the father of the Minotaur Asterion. So for this one, the Cretan bull was in a fit of rage and was just going back and forth between Knossos and Crete, just killing people, destroying property, just being an absolute nuisance. So what ends up happening is Heracles goes in and beats up the Minotaur to such an extent that he knocks it out completely. He, again, just like with the Erymanthian boar, puts it onto his shoulders and brings it to King Aristeus, who was extremely foolish in this, so much so that Aristeus just drops the bull, or just lets the bull loose, and the bull runs through Marathon. And the bull is later then killed by Theseus. Also here, I believe that these are depictions of the Sphinx. Sphinx is famous in Thebes, as this is the guardian of the city that Oedipus has to meet to gain access to it, and he has to solve the riddle of I am 4-legged in the morning, 2-legged in the afternoon, and 3-legged in the evening. What am I? Riddle. Sphinx is interesting because this is both Greek and Egyptian, because the more human depiction is in the Greek side, while the more animalistic depiction is in Egypt, since they saw animals more where they venerated animals more so than the Greeks did. Or animalistic depictions, I should say, is what they venerated more so. Man, this level is long. And we're not even.
Hercules.
So I will say, the getting the letters sort of shows you how far into the level you are. So we're missing 3 letters at the end, which means we still have 3 parts to go through. Okay. Well, there's the sea. So we somehow backtracked. Okay, let's pick up speed. There we go.
Hercules.
Ow. Ow. It's alright.
Hercules.
We can just heal through it. There we go. Alright, I get the feeling we're gonna have to use that again. Let's go down this way. Okay, so there's nothing here. Alright, before we continue, I just want to mention that if you are enjoying this, do not forget to subscribe. Do not forget to follow. We stream every Saturday and Sunday, both on YouTube and Twitch now. So most of the streams are going to be featured on both. However, anytime we talk about mythology, anytime we do explorations of myth or discussions, lectures on myth, those are going to be posted to the YouTube channel. The streams on Saturdays are going to be more so just for fun. You know, right now we're playing through Elden Ring on Twitch and YouTube. Those will not be posted on YouTube. So if you want to see more of that, Twitch is more the side for that. As well, I do have a Patreon. You can, if you really want to support the channel, you can absolutely join the Patreon. It is only $2 a month. And there you can get access to the Discord, access to, or your name can be featured on every single video, and you'll get direct, anytime you make a suggestion, it'll be directly to me. So that way we can get more videos out from your suggestions. So you actually become more a part of the channel creation process. So again, if you enjoy this, like the video or like the stream, subscribe, follow. Yeah, that out of the way, let's continue on. Oh, okay, so that does lead somewhere. Oh, God. I think that guy's gonna be the death of me. Not a centaur, just a random dude. Come on. Come on, Hercules. There we go. Oh boy. Okay. Hey, we got help.
Hercules.
Fantastic. I don't know why. Like, I can't reach those. Oh well. Nope. Hey, okay, we got the S, so we're at the end of the level then. There we go. Booyah! Alright. Ooh. Alright. So we've gone through 7 labors. Oh!
There's been a terrible accident.
Meg, speaking of disasters,
Wonder Boy. Hercules, thank goodness.
what's wrong?
Outside of town, 2 little boys, they're playing in the gorge. There was this rock slide, a terrible rock slide. They're trapped.
Kids? Trapped? Phil, this is great!
You're really choked up about this, aren't you?
Come on!
No, you don't understand. I have this terrible fear of heights.
I will say, I do gripe on the Hercules movie being super inaccurate and whatnot, but it's honestly one of my favorites. It's so good. All right, here we go.
Hercules.
There we go. He's going to attack me. Oh, come on. Oh, balls off. Alright, fine. I'm gonna go with you. No. Didn't help.
Hercules.
Come on. Right there. Right here. Oh, come on.
Hercules.
Come on. You can do this. There we go. Oh, buzz off.
Hercules.
Okay. There we go. We're getting a little closer. Let's get some more health. It's okay. We can get some more health. Missed it. And we're back up to full. Oh, buzz off. Okay. Oh, we got so close. There we go. There we go.
Thank you.
Good night. First try. So there is the Hydra's death. And just like in the myth, it is crushed by a boulder and dies. Well, in the movie in game it dies, but
Nice work!
in
Excellent!
the myth it just sits there. Alright. Let's go over another myth, or another labor here. So the 8th labor of Heracles is to steal the mares of Diomedes. So Diomedes was a king of Thrace. And these mares fed off of humans because Diomedes was a very cruel and unusual king. So he basically just like trained his horses to feed off of people. So Hercules went to Diomedes, told him, hey, I need to take your mares. And he's like, sure, absolutely. And of course, these mares do not look like normal mares. They, their teeth are sharp, their eyes are red. So Heracles is like, and he can smell blood, human blood, off of them. So what he does is he instead grabs the king and throws him to the mares, which justifiable because the king is immediately torn apart by the mares. This satisfies the mares just enough to where Heracles can take each one and tie rope around their mouth and head. So that way they can't open their mouth at all. So there's no way that they can actually attack or harm Heracles.
You gotta admit, that is pretty heroic.
You did it, kid! You did it! You won by a landslide!
What do you know?
Okay, so this I saw on, I'm going to see if I can pause it right before we get going. Okay, so this is Medusa's lair. Now, as we all know, as we discussed before, Medusa comes from the myth of Perseus killing Medusa, killing her, taking off her head, and Chrysaor and Pegasus being birthed from her. I don't know why they chose Medusa here, because yes, Medusa touches, it connects to Heracles' lineage of, being a descendant of Perseus. However, Pegasus comes from Medusa, and Medusa actually does have sisters. One of them is Euryale, or Uriel, whichever pronunciation is correct. And she too is a Gorgon. Just like Medusa, looks relatively similar to Medusa. So what they could have done was have it be Euryale. Now, in the actual myth of Heracles and his labors and whatnot, he never actually faces a Gorgon. I mean, even his shield doesn't depict a Gorgon. That's Perseus's shield that would depict a Gorgon. It's Athena's shield that would depict a Gorgon instead. Or it would be Medusa's head, and that would be known as the Aegis. So, weird, but sure, why not? No, not that. Alright, well, let's continue on. Ow.
Out of here!
Ow. Oh, need Hercules. Oh, I mean, that works. Ow.
Hercules. Hercules.
There we go.
Say goodnight, ugly. Another TKO for the home team. Hercules. Hercules.
I'm just very glad that they are just giving me health constantly.
Say goodnight, ugly.
Wow, this boss is so easy. There we go. We win.
Say goodnight, ugly.
So, Medusa. The myth of Medusa sees the... Okay, before I continue. The myth of Medusa has seen so many changes. It's one of the most popular myths to date.
Nice work!
And
Excellent!
and it changes so often. It's changed through time, it's changed just in general. So in Hesiod's telling of Medusa, he explains that Medusa had slept with Poseidon, or as he frames it, the dark-haired one, in like a field of flowers. And it's a very romantic type of telling. So it sort of depicts this connection of the two as more sympathetic, more consensual, and from having intercourse like that, or having relations, I should say, Medusa is turned into a gorgon, you know, the snakes, the turning people to stone, by Athena because of this action. So she's basically like punished for having sex with Poseidon. In the Roman depiction, I can't remember who exactly, again, in my explanation of the myth, in the Evolution of Greek Mythology video, again, I'll post that one, or I'll post a link to it. The Roman telling has the actual rape depicted in the temple of Athena, the temple of Minerva. And in this, they present a more human side to Medusa. That she was, again, transformed into a gorgon because of this, that like, hey, you know, Athena had no other option than to turn Medusa into a Gorgon because of this. And of course, the modern day is the fact that Athena turned Medusa into a Gorgon to help her. So Medusa's kind of like a tragic character, really. Still a monster in the Greek
Here's the
sense,
trick.
but
You give up your strength for about 24 hours. Okay, say the next 24 hours. And Meg here is free as a bird and safe from harm. We dance, we kiss, we schmooze, we carry on, we go home happy. What do you say? Come on.
All right. Yes, we're there.
Bam.
Brothers! Titans! Look at you in your squalid prison! Who put you down there? And now that I set you free, what is the first thing you're going to do?
Good answer.
Hercules, David! Hercules! Come out! Face me!
What are you doing? Without your strength, you'll be killed.
There are worse things.
all right. So we got some things to discuss here. Let's start with the fact that Hades says brothers in reference to the Titans. Now, yes, he is saying brothers as we are brothers in arms against the power of Zeus. However, the Titans are the precursors to the gods. You have Titans like Kronos and Atlas and Prometheus, Epimetheus, who are all Titans. And I should say, in a lot of media, Titans are depicted as like absolutely gigantic beings. They're not. They were just regular human size, god size, essentially. It's just they were the before of the gods. And the gods were actually made like the standard 6 gods. So we have Hades, Zeus, Hera, Hestia, Poseidon. All of them were the sons and daughters of the Titans Kronos and Rhea. Won't go into how they're born, but so to call them brothers is a little awkward, but sure, why not? And for the Titans themselves, they're shown trapped in a lightning-bound cage in the water. The Titans were actually put into Tartarus, which was the lowest point. I mean, even farther down from Hades. Hesiod mentioned that it would take an anvil 9 days to travel from the heavens or the top of Olympus to Earth. It would then take another 9 days to travel from the, floor of Earth, or the, ground of Earth, all the way down to Tartarus. The Titans were basically bound and tortured there in Tartarus. Yes, by Zeus, but they were to spend the rest of their days there because of their time against Zeus. They're fighting against the god of Olympus. So, and there, the sorry, my brain's rotting. Tartarus had the gates that were guarded by Campe, as well as Campe was a like draconoid type of creature who was killed by Zeus, and the Hecatoncheires, who were 100 heads, 100 arms. You know, think of like a human spider kind of thing, but you know, who could carry 1,000 weapons. In any case, the Titans that are depicted here are really elementals. So you have, you know, lava, earth, ice, wind, and whatnot. And as elementals, they more so take on the form of primordials. And the primordials being Gaia, Uranus, these were the like depictions or the representations of, or even Tartarus himself was a representation of that. So Tartarus was the representation of hell. Gaia was a representation or the personification of the earth, Uranus, the sky, and so on. The Titans came from the primordials. So, and I will say, the one that we have here that is depicted in front of us in the game, the Cyclops, or the Cyclopes, they were actually a race of Titans born from Uranus and Gaia. Now, of course, there are some Cyclopes that are sons of Poseidon. We see one in the Odyssey, where Odysseus gouges out the eye of, I forget his name, but of the Cyclops there, and yells out, "No man has harmed you." But, sorry. So, and to have a Cyclops here fighting with the Titans against, you know, the city of Thebes, basically wanting the destruction of the gods, is odd because of the fact that the Cyclops, or the Cyclopes, were actually helpers of the gods. They were the ones who helped build Olympus, who helped build the temples that were on top of Olympus to basically be the homes of the gods. Heck, they were the first ones to actually create Zeus's Thunderbolt, and even create all of the weapons, or some of the weapons for the gods. So it's interesting that they have the Cyclops depicted as an enemy here. All right, but let's continue on. And again, this is still the farthest I have ever gotten in a game. Or not in a game, but in this game. I have no idea what just hit me. I'm really curious to see if I can get all of the letters for Hercules. We got 3 letters. Okay. Okay, we're doing okay.
Hercules.
Get over here. Here we go.
Hercules.
Okay. It's alright. Okay. I think I see another letter over here. Yep. Okay, we're doing okay.
Hercules.
It's alright. Oh, jeez. Oh my god, dude. I'm amazed that we made it through that. Hey, we got that. Okay. Oh, that's not good. It's okay. Alright, we're doing alright. We're doing alright. Nope.
Hercules.
Oh, we got the health.
Hercules.
Girl. Dang it. Yeah, I think there was a letter back there. It's okay. Oh, oh, of course. There we go. Increased health. It's okay. Oh my god. Okay. What do we miss? Oh, we missed the L, and that was it. We only missed the L. That was okay. That's not too bad. No. Oh no! Dang it. Oh, God, that's... Oh, this is gonna suck. Chariot, another chariot. Oh, we got the L. If we lose any more health, we're going to get the L. I completely whiffed it. Alright, let's get some health up here.
Hercules.
Jeez. Let's get some health over here.
Hercules.
Come on. There we go.
Hercules.
Alright, let's do that. Jump. There we go. Oh, I missed it. Hey, we got it. We completed Hercules. Or, well, completed the name Hercules. There we go. Oh, perfect. That was awesome. We only lost one life. So, all right. So let's now talk about the 9th.
Yeah, nice job, babe. Love it.
Oh, awesome.
Hey,
We
you're
got
gonna be a legend in no time.
another thing of health. Perfect. another life. All right. So the ninth labor of Hercules was to obtain the girdle of Hippolyta, who was the queen of the Amazons. Now, it's unclear where exactly the Amazons were, but it was more towards the, it's believed, the Ionian Sea. So on the eastern side of the Greek realm. Heracles traveled to the Amazons and told them, hey, I need the girdle of your queen. Now, what Heracles didn't realize is that Hera had actually come to the Amazons first, told them, hey, Heracles is going to be coming to you guys. He's going to be, wanting something. You can't give it to him. You have to kill him. Like, he is a terrible man. The Amazons were primarily female and would only have men around to procreate. And that would be it. So they were a civilization of fierce women. And so when Heracles shows up, he is essentially a demigod of strength. And when he gets there, he asks, hey, I just need your girdle, Queen Hippolyta. That's all. I'm not here to fight. I'm not here to do anything else. Just want the girdle. That's all that I'm asking for. And so she says, yeah, sure. Okay. I'm sure that there were other things that happened, This very fierce, strong man comes and asks for the queen. She'll probably say yeah. This in turn completes his ninth task. And then he comes to his 10th and final labor, his 10th and final task, which was the obtaining the cattle of Geryon. Geryon's an interesting character because Geryon was the grandson of Medusa. So, I don't know how exactly. I believe that he was born from Chrysor, which was the flying boar that came out of Medusa's neck, out of her blood. Sibling to Pegasus, actually. Geryon was a giant, depicted as a giant, who had 3 heads, and sometimes had 1 body, sometimes had 3 bodies, and then 1 set of legs. So, yikes. Imagine the attitudes. I always picture it as Monty Python, the quest for the Holy Grail. I always picture it as that, with the knight with 3 heads. I always see Geryon as that. Arguing amongst themselves. In this adventure, in this quest for the cattle of Geryon, excuse me, Herc has to travel, or I keep wanting to say Herc, Heracles has to travel through the Libyan desert. And the desert is so hot, he's so annoyed by it, because it feels like it's never ending, that he takes his bow and arrow and fires it straight at the sun. Now it's so strong that it actually hits the sun. And Helios, being the Titan god of the sun, the personification of the sun, he is extremely impressed and decides, you know what? Why are you going through the desert? Why'd you do this? Heracles tells Helios about what he's doing, what his quest is, and so Helios decides, sure, I will help you, and gives him his sun chariot. Well, the sun isn't behind it at the current time, so he just gives him his chariot to borrow, and then he'll get it back. no matter what the sun can see, Helios can be there. So Heracles takes the chariot to Gerion's land, and there he sees the herdsmen of the cattle and Gerion's dog. Hold on, let me find the name. I wrote it down. There it is. Orthrus. Orthrus was kind of like Cerberus, only it had 2 heads instead of 3. This 2-headed dog was very fierce and very aggressive, and so it attacked Heracles. Instead, Heracles just punched it to death, and punched the herdsman of Geryon to death as well. Killing both of them, he was able to claim the cattle. But once he claimed it, Geryon came up and was not happy with this. So Geryon was struck by Heracles' sword, chopping off the 3 heads, and Geryon falls to his death. Well, he does this, and before he had actually shot him with an arrow with the Hydra's blood, poison blood arrows. And this completely kills Geryon. And thus he can claim the 10th task as his final labor. However, once he makes it back to Aristeus, the king tells Heracles that 2 of his tasks were not actually done correctly, that they wouldn't count. The Lernaean Hydra didn't count because Heracles was supposed to do it on his own, and instead had the help from Iolaus, his nephew. The stables, or cleaning the Augean stables, was also not counted because of the fact that he was offered payment. Heracles was told that he would receive payment for cleaning the stables. He didn't actually get the payment, but the act was still there. So instead,
Me bite off head.
I didn't realize that there was a cutscene.
What's happening?
Hades' deal is broken. He promised I wouldn't get hurt. You haven't got much time. You can still stop Hades.
I'll watch over it, kid.
You're gonna be all right. I promise.
Okay. So Aristeus gives Heracles 2 more tasks. And we'll be going over those in just a minute here. All right. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Heyo. I'm just gonna stop. Oh, I missed it. Please.
Hercules.
More help, please. No. Oh, I missed that. It's interesting that there's a monkey lion thing. Ow, 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 ow. I'm like running into every single one. Thanks, dude. Oh my god, I died. Just gonna stay up here in the top left corner. Oh, it's forcing me down. It's forcing me down.
Hercules.
Now. Now.
Hercules.
Let me go down. I find it weird that...
Hercules.
Oh, I missed the god.
Hercules.
Okay. Oh, god.
Hercules.
Oops. Okay, we're close to the end.
Hercules.
Hey, we freed the two gods of war.
Hercules. Hercules.
So I think that's supposed to be a harpy, but I'm not sure. Oh, there's the E. There's Dionysus. So Dionysus is kind of weird to me. Weird in the sense that he was treated... Oh, come on. Almost exactly like Athena. In that he was born from Hera's, or I think it's Hera's thigh, or Zeus's thigh. So, all right. So let's go over the 11th. The 11th labor of Hercules. So, the 11th labor was to steal the golden apples of the Hesperides. So, the Hesperides were the nymphs of golden lights. Nymphs were spirits, essentially, or like person spirits of Greek myth, and really any sort of folklore, really. This was seen as such a task that was basically near impossible to actually complete, because Heracles had no idea where the golden apples would be, where they were. So what he did is he he knew of the old god of the sea, Nereus. What he did is he swam down, found the old god in the Aegean, and grabbed him by the beard. I mean, think of like King Triton. King Triton is actually designed after Nereus. So he grabs him by the beard, and Nereus struggles to get away. He tries to transform into different, sea animals, sharks, fish, whatnot. But of course, he maintains his beard, his, hair. So he tires out, and Hercules asks him, I need to know where the golden apples are, the Hesperides. And he knows, of course, being the god of the sea, he knows a lot. So he tells Heracles, okay, it's by the Caucasus Mountains. You need to go there to find them. Heracles lets him go, and he rides off. On his way to the Caucasus Mountains, Heracles actually runs into Prometheus, the Titan of foresight. Prometheus was chained up there because he had stolen the sacred fire from the gods and given it to man. He was basically seen as a savior. This is why Hercules is so much seen as a hero to not only the Greeks, but to, modern day society. We even have, games and movies about him. Because of the fact that he sees Prometheus, he's struggling, he's being tortured, he's been there for thousands of years at this point now. And Heracles kills the eagle that is tearing out his liver, or Prometheus's liver, every night, and frees Prometheus, saving him essentially. So he saves the savior. And Prometheus tells him, hey, just so you know, there is a dragon that sits around the tree of the golden apples that is protecting both the Hesperides and the apples. And no mortal being can actually go near it. So you will find a way to get to it. Hercules thanks him and rides off. When he gets to the top of the Caucasus Mountains, he sees none other than Atlas holding up the sky, holding up the heavens. Atlas has been here the same amount of time as Prometheus. Probably even way before Prometheus at this point. So what he does is Heracles tells Atlas, hey, I need to get the golden apples of the Hesperides. Do you know where they are? And he says, yes, they're just down the path. And Heracles is pretty clever, and so he tells him, hey, can you get them for me? I can't go near them. Can you get them for me, since you're able to go near them a little bit better than I am? Atlas is enthralled at this idea because this means somebody else gets to hold up the heavens, than he does. So he agrees, switches places, and Heracles holds up the heavens as Atlas goes and gathers the apples. Atlas grabs the apples, doesn't disturb anybody, doesn't disturb the dragon that sleeps, and comes back to Heracles. Now, Atlas tells him, hey, you're pretty good, you're strong, you can hold up the heavens. I'll go return these apples for you instead. And Heracles, again being clever, says, sure, but before you go, if I'm going to be here for a while, I would like some padding on my shoulders and my hands so that way, they don't hurt so much. Atlas goes, you know what? That's not a bad idea. Since you're doing me a favor here, I'll do this one for you. And so they switch places for a brief second. And in that second, Heracles rolls over, grabs the apples and bolts, runs away from Atlas, leaving Atlas to continue to hold up the sky and the heavens, and letting Hercules take the apples back to Aristeus. Now, being that these golden apples are extremely sacred to the gods, Hercules had to give them back. And Athena would come down and reclaim the apples for the gods themselves, since they were theirs to begin with. All right, so we are nearing the end of the game here. I think we only have one level left. So I will say, Hades does not have undead soldiers at his will. Oh, okay. Let me just jump into the river Styx.
Hercules.
Whoop! Jumps right back in. Dang it. Okay, so we're already...
Hercules.
Whoops. Okay. Are we gonna take the left path? Oh, thank goodness.
Hercules.
Go. Now. Oh, come on. Okay. Alright, here we go. Nope, nope. I want the health more so than anything. Go. Go, go, go. Jump. It's fine. Go, we're gonna go, we're gonna go. Oh, thank goodness.
Hercules.
Okay, we're doing okay. Oh, I looked away for a second.
Hercules.
Oh, we have 6 lives. Why am I even worried? Let's speed past these guys. I'll be honest, that was some great dodging on my part, and I am gonna toot my own horn there.
Hercules.
Oh. All right, we are very close to the end here.
Hercules.
I'm sorry, what?
Hercules. Hercules.
Of course.
Hercules.
There we go. Okay. Now, fine. Ooh. All right. There we go. Now we are literally at the end. We are at the final battle. And with this is the perfect segue into the final labor. The final labor and the 12th labor of Heracles was to steal the guard dog of
Rule number
the
95,
underworld.
kid. Concentrate.
Steal Cerberus. So Cerberus was the son of Echidna and Typhon. They were both the king and queen of monsters. So Cerberus was very much a monster in all sense of the word. Now, of course, its original Greek name was Cerberus. The task had Heracles go down into the underworld, and in all honesty, this was probably one of the easiest tasks for Heracles, because he crawled through a lot of chthonic tunnels, or like a lot of tunnels that led, or eventually led into the underworld. So he was basically spelunking through caves. He ended up in the underworld, and he goes to Hades himself. Now, of course, as he's traveling through, the myth tells that he sees heroes of the past. He sees Odysseus. He sees many of the Greek soldiers. Now, of course, the timeline is a bit weird because he says that he meets Odysseus, but Odysseus isn't until later in, when he goes to Troy later on in life, but it's neither here or there. In any case, Heracles meets with Hades, and Hades very much knows of Heracles. He's heard all about him. He knows exactly who he is, because Hades knows all. Hades sees all. And Heracles goes up to Hades and asks him, "Hey, can I borrow Cerberus?" And Hades just goes, "Yeah, sure. But you have to wrangle him with your own bare hands. Once you do wrangle him, you can bring him to wherever you need to go." Hades knows full well that he is a demigod of strength. And so he's like, he knows full well that Heracles can easily do this task. And Heracles does. He wraps his arms around all three heads of Cerberus and guides him back to King Aristeus. with this, King Eurystheus tells Heracles, you know what? You're done. You've been absolved of all your sins. You are a hero. You've done everything that a hero could be asked of. You slew monsters. You captured. You ran. You went to the underworld and lived. Of course, unbeknownst to Heracles, he was helped by both Athena and Hermes in some fashion, but he was absolved of all of his sin, of his trials and tribulations that he faced in killing his family during his madness. So, of course, during his death, thanks to Nessus and Heracles' third wife, Daenerys, he does die in the physical sense, but his godly will ascends up to Olympus, and he becomes a full god in that. And with that, let's fight Hades.
You like making deals. Take me in Meg's place.
The son of my hated rival trapped forever in a river of death.
Going once,
Is there a downside to this?
going twice.
Okay. You get her out. She goes. You stay.
Again, this proves the cleverness of Heracles.
I think we could use a little extra firepower. I bet that's painful. Get off of my cloud! Oh boy, that's gotta hurt. I think we could use a little extra firepower. Get off of my cloud!
Give it up, Hades. Hercules. You'll never win, Hades. Hercules. Give it up, Hades.
I bet that's painful. Get off of my cloud! Ooh, does that hurt?
Hercules. You'll never win, Hades.
I think we could use a little extra firepower.
Oh, and we won!
I hate to lose.
And we have beaten Hercules the Action Game.
Nice work! Excelente!
true hero. For a true hero isn't measured by the size of his strength, but by the strength of his heart.
All right, there we go. I have actually never beaten the game, but it looks like we finally did. And yeah, we have talked about Hercules for the past, goodness, almost 3 hours, and it was quite enjoyable to do. So I just want to say thank you guys so much. I very much appreciate you guys taking the time to watch, learn, discuss. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to mention it down in the comments. And don't hesitate to like the video, like the stream, follow, subscribe. Again, you can support me on Patreon for only $2 a month. And we do have another video that is coming out this coming Wednesday on the 20, is it? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, on the 24th. So, should be a good one. Again, we're working on another video as well. And final announcements is next week we will not be streaming. I do, again, have to go out of town, and this will probably be the last time I go out of town. But I wanted to say thank you again so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting, being an amazing community, being an amazing audience. And I really hope that you all have an amazing and fantastic rest of your day. I'll see you guys next time.
Hercules